is just a process of what? Examining books or accounts, the process of examining books of accounts with aim, with objective, with aim of what? Express, with aim of expressing opinion, with aim of expressing opinion. So this opinion is whether the books of account are what? True and fair view. Whether these books are true and fair view. So that when we say we are examining these what? Books of account. So tunaangalia whether zile records zenye umeandika kwa layers ziko true. And when we say fair view, which means it must reflect the picture of the what? Of the company or the financial activities of the company. So that is a definition of what? Auditing. That is the definition of auditing. In the compare not, but so to make summarize notes to explain. To make summarize notes to explain. So to kusema now who is an auditor? So auditor is now independent what? Is an independent professional. Is an independent professional accountant who what? Who examined the books of accounts, who examined the books of accounts, who examined the books of accounts. So that is the difference between the auditing and the auditor, the auditing and the auditor. So audit is the same na audit. So the pattern, this one is auditing, is the ing form, that is the continuous process. But audit and auditing, they are what? They are the same. They are the same. They are the same. So I don't know even why examiner ametuwekea that we need to have examine to know the auditing and the audit. So they are just the same. So that's what you need to know under that first, and then now explain the principle and the process of audit. The principles and the process of audit. The principles and the process of audit. The principles and the process of audit. So when we talk of principles of audit, so when you reach from the intermediate level, that is the auditing and assurance, we will cover a whole topic of principles and the process of audit. So when you talk of principles and process of what? Audit. Process of audit. Principles and process of audit. So whenever you are carrying out an audit, you must show certain principles. And who is the person who is expecting to show these certain principles is the auditor. So the auditor must show what we call the integrity. So it must show what we call the integrity. The integrity, that is the one of the what? The key principles, that is the integrity. So when you say integrity, that auditor must maintain honest. So this one is that auditor must maintain honest. Auditor must maintain honest. Maintain honest and adherence to what? Ethical behavior. So that if the company is making losses as an auditor, you should be able to give us the report with the losses. So you should not be a person who manipulates the account so that you try to what? To impress the owners of the business. No. So you should give us exactly what is there. So that's what the auditor should possess. That is the integrity. Number two is the objectivity or the objective. We are talking of what? Objectivity. We are talking of the objectivity. So when we say objectivity, is that the auditor should be what? Unbiased. The auditor should be unbiased. The auditor should be unbiased. The auditor should be unbiased based on the what? Or based on evidence obtained. Based on evidence obtained. Because what is the objective of doing audit? What is the main objective of doing audit? I hope bado unanisikiza. Sahii haisumbui, si ndio? So you can reply so that tusiendelee kama bado usikii na tunaendelea. So when we talk about objective of carrying out audit, objective of the carrying out audit. So the layman who is not a professional accountant will think that people carrying out audit is only to what? To detect errors and fraud, or to find out whether the company is making a lot of errors. No, that's not the primary objective of the audit. That is not the primary objective of the audit. So the primary objective of the audit is to what? Is to express opinion. Is to express opinion. This is the primary responsibility of the auditor, is to express opinion. So another one of detecting errors and fraud, this is the responsibility of the what? Of the management. This is the responsibility of the management. This is the responsibility of the management. So here in this principle, the auditor should stick to his what? Objectivity of obtaining the correct evidence and express opinion based on the evidence obtained. Based on the evidence obtained. And then another objective, so start here ilikuwa number two. Number three principles, we are talking of professional competence. Professional competence. So what when you say professional competence, that is that the auditor must what? Must possess the necessary skills and knowledge. The necessary skills and knowledge. The necessary skills and knowledge. So before you carry audit, or before you take an audit assignment as the auditor, you should make sure that you have the prerequisite knowledge, or you have the knowledge and experience about the industry, so that you can be able to give us a good report. So we talk of what competence. We talk of competence. Another one is the confidentiality. Another one principle is the what? The confidentiality. So make sure that you are writing something, short note, confidentiality. So remember, as an auditor, you are what? You are examining the books of account of a client, which includes the bank statement, the title deeds, and other confidential information. So you should not expose this information to the third party. So you should not expose this information to the third party. That's what we refer as the confidentiality. So whatever you have obtained there as an evidence, you should use it for the purpose of audit, not for the external use. So you said that the auditor must safeguard a sensitive information. So the auditor must safeguard sensitive information, the sensitive information. So the last principles we are talking of professional skepticism. Professional skepticism. Tunaandikaje skepticism? Professional skepticism. That is the last principles. That is the last principle. So when we talk about professional skepticism, is that that attitude yenye uko nayo kwa kichwa. So ukienda kwa ule client, don't assume that everything in that business is okay as an auditor. So as you approach that audit assignment, you go there with an attitude in mind that everything there is not okay. So that's what we refer as what? Professional skepticism. So that you will take anything there with due care, because utajua si ati nikikupea this value was 100,000. You accept it, okay, it was 100,000. No. So as a professional accountant, you should have this professional skepticism so that you can charge and question this 100,000, so that you can ask more questions from this 100,000. That's what the professional skepticism means. That's what the professional skepticism means. So we can write something small there. You say that auditor must critically assess. The auditor must critically access the computer, access the evidence, must access the evidence provided, must access the evidence provided. In bracket, you can refer to as a attitude, the attitude of mind, or what we call, attitude of mind. So you should have that attitude of mind, that this information might not be of true and fair, so that you can question, the evidence you have been provided. So that's what you need to know under the principles of the audit, or the principles of audit. Let's look at the process of audit. How do we undertake this assignment of audit? So audit is a very easy unit. Me, I like audit. So it's a very easy unit. It is not a complicated one. So the best way to pass the audit is to understand the concept. So sikram, hapa hakuna kukram. So we have to understand the concept. Even me, ukiniuliza hii professional skepticism ikiwa wapi, I should be able to explain to you. Because nikisoma sikuwa cram that one. So okay, cram, we have a lot of terms, so you don't need to cram. So just understand the concept. So just understand the concept. Now we have the process of audit. The process of audit. So it is very simple. The process of audit is very simple. The first, we start by doing what? Planning. So the first stage is the planning. So in this planning, what do you need to know? The first is that you need to understand the entity. So understand the entity or the company. So you must understand the entity of the company. So when we say, because the examiner will ask you, give a reason why the auditor will need to understand the company. You need to understand the company. So hiyo leso hizo ziko sawa. Tuko pamoja? So you need to understand the company or the entity so that you can know the nature of the business, the nature of the business they are, their books of account, the accounting system, whether they have the accounting system. Also, this understanding of the entity will enable you to know the internal control system which has been put in place in that company, whether they have that internal control system or they don't have. So you have to do, and for you to understand the entity, you must have the meetings with the company, either the preliminary meetings, the in-between meeting as you continue doing the audit, and also the exit meeting, So another reason of doing the planning is to identify the risk, to identify the risk, to identify the risk. So you have to do the planning to identify the risks. Remember, each and every company iko na risk level, So utapata like kwa kampuni fulani wakipoteza 50,000, wakipoteza 50,000, this is not a risk for them. So for them, this is unmaterial. But for another company, if they lost 50,000, it is material to them. So that's why for doing planning is to understand the level of the risk appetite of that company, So hapo tumesema identifying the risk and also the scope of audit. The scope of audit. So that's what you will do in the planning stage. And then the second stage is the evidence collection. So when you talk evidence collection, this is a process of gathering audit evidence. And I hope there is a topic for audit evidence. Yeah. So there is a topic in topic 6 that is audit evidence. So there we will talk a lot about this audit evidence, how to gather the audit evidence, how to measure this the audit evidence. So there is a topic for audit evidence. So this is just gathering financial and non-financial information. So it is basically gathering a financial and non-financial information to support an audit, And then the next stage of the process of audit, after you have collected the audit evidence, the next stage is testing. The next stage is testing. So what do we mean when we say testing? What do we mean when we say testing? So testing is that you have collected the evidence. Now you go there and sit down in your office and check whether is the evidence yenye umepewa ama iko correct, ama iko true. So that's what we call the testing. And this testing, we will use a lot of what? The audit procedures. We'll use a lot of what? Audit procedures to do testing. A good example, nimekuambia last month we paid salary of 500,000. So you gave us a payroll, and then you say we paid salary of what? 500,000. This is the net payable which has gone through the bank. Then the next thing we will ask you as auditor when we are doing testing is that we will ask you, give us the raw data of this salary ya net ya 500,000. So tutakuitisha nini? Give us the gross salary. So e gross salary Then sisi as auditor tutaanza kucalculate pay. We will calculate pay, tutacalculate NHIF, NSSF, and other deduction, so that we can check whether it is actually coming to the net of what? 500,000. 500,000. So all these, we are doing what is called testing. We are doing what is called testing. And in this testing, there is assertion which we are using. There's assertion which you are using, which is called accuracy. Which is called accuracy. It's called accuracy. So there's something called assertion. There's something called assertion. So we are using assertion or the accuracy test to test whether this figure is correct. Whether this figure is correct. So auditing is a very interesting unit. But you have to give like upende. So when we say hizi zote tutaifanya kwa internal controls, hizi procedures. So testing, you can say that we have substantive, say is a conducting substantive procedure, conducting substantive procedures, and test of controls, and test of controls, and test of controls, and test of control to ensure accuracy. That is one example, to ensure accuracy. But it is not only limited to the accuracy. We have so many assertions. We have so many assertions. So once you have done testing, then you do what? You report. Then you report. Then you do reporting. You do what is called reporting. You do what is called reporting. So provide an opinion. So this one is that auditor will provide an opinion. Auditor will provide an opinion on the financial statement. Whether or this statement portray true and fair view. So it will give us a report whether this financial statement portray true and fair view. So tukifika reporting, we have the auditor's report, the last topic. We have the auditor's report, that's the last topic. And tukifika hapo, or the last topic, we will see the type of opinion which the auditor should give. So we have so many types of opinion. We have unqualified opinion. We have the qualified opinion. Which do you think that between the qualified and unqualified opinion is the best? Between unqualified and qualified opinion, which one is the best? Which one is the best between unqualified and qualified opinion? So just try. Tuko pamoja kweli? Yes? Hello, tuko pamoja?